Hey everybody, welcome to Gaming Golf, the Tour Championship preview. Jeff Erickson here with Jeff Ritter from Morning Read and SI Golf, and Scott Jenstad from RotoWire. Gentlemen, how you doing?
FedEx fever, man. Doing well. How are you?
Doing great, doing great. Busy day for everybody involved, so let's get rolling. We had the BMW last week. What an epic battle on Sunday. It was a birdie fest. That's one thing I'd complain about the course, but they somehow got to perfect drama anyhow. Cantlay versus Bryson the whole weekend was just phenomenal, fun golf to watch.
I was living and dying. I had Cantlay at 22-1, and there were three different times where I thought I was done. I had Cantlay, Bryson, and Rory on my DraftKings team. It was my best week of the season by far. It was a lot of fun, and I can't believe Bryson missed all those putts to win, and Cantlay made all of them. Cantlay's shot gain putting was like the highest in the history of the PGA Tour, 14.6. Just the most ridiculous, insane win. It was bonkers.
Onions all over the place. Funny thing is, Bryson was second best in strokes gain putting for the whole weekend too.
He just missed the back nine. He missed like 5 to win it in the back nine. But I mean, it was and Cantlay. I mean, I've never seen a guy make every 15, 20 foot putt for 3 hours. It was
I thought it was over on 17. When Cantlay put it in the water on 17, I thought, I walked away.
For sure.
Went to check on baseball for a sec, went to get a drink, came back. Cantlay had made the bogey putt, and I was like, oh, it's on. And then Bryson missed his par putt. I'm like,
he was down one, and it went in the water. Like that was a wrap right there. Yeah,
exactly.
I gotta say, I mean, FedEx jokes aside, I mean, the PGA Tour is getting what it wanted. Like as they shifted the schedule around, they cleared things out so they could get this playoff in before football season starts.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a cash grab for a bunch of, athletes who are already very rich beyond their wildest dreams. But man, that was really good. I mean, we're talking about golf and, we still got a couple weeks before NFL season starts, and golf, it still feels like it's forced its way to the center of not just, I mean, we have plenty of great storylines for golf fans, but even it's still in that kind of like mainstream sports discussion with all this Bryson related drama swirling around it, and then you've got him at the center of everything on the weekend. So it's been really good.
And the tournament before the Northern Trust was pretty darn good too. That was a good tournament as well, although we had the delay of a day and all that, but it still was fascinating to watch. Let's jump right in. We got a super strange setup this week. It's only 30 golfers. First of all, the start on second base rule. Nobody likes it. I don't think. From a gaming perspective, it's terrible. You like it.
I like it from a viewing perspective. I don't like it from a DK perspective, but
yeah,
I always thought the old way was super confusing. You had the year where like Tiger won and the crowd's going nuts, but Justin Rose wins and he wins 10 million. It was all weird. I think I'd go a little bit, maybe more pressed together from starting on second base, but I kind of like it.
Yeah.
I might be the only one. I fully admit that.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's funny. Like Len was explaining it, like the world golf rankings, however, they do like the strokes winner is the winner of their tournament, according to them, in terms of like tallying for the world golf ranking, which is interesting. For us playing fantasy, it's confusing too.
It is very confusing.
So that's the chart. But we have 30 golfers. We got 30 minutes, less than 30 minutes. We can do a minute of golfer here. Let's just jump right into it there. Cantlay is at 13.4. He starts off at -10. He's not priced as high as previous leaders were going into the last couple of years by a long shot too. It used to be, I think DJ was 15.5 last year. He's 13.4 this year. Jeff, what do you think about that?
Well, like you said, the market does not see him as the overwhelming choice that past golfers have been at this stage. So, I mean, certainly any golfer who's played their way to the top heading into East Lake has got to be the favorite. I was trying to figure out how many points he starts with in DraftKings. Is there an equation for that? I was trying to pull that up here.
He doesn't start with anything. The finishing points counts as if you win, you get 30 points. So he's in a huge edge to get those points at the end, but he doesn't start with anything at the top.
Yeah, okay, even if he doesn't win, he gets he's a huge favorite to at least get some bonus points regardless.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right, got it.
And those points fall off so fast that winning, you're going to have to get the winner. I think winning's 30 seconds, 20, and then it gets really slower from there. But winning and second is both huge.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's only 30 golfers, and there's some guys that are costing $5,000. You have to get it right.
Yeah. You have to get the winner here, but that's you're also paying a lot for those guys at the top.
So let's get right to it. He's 13.4, Rahm's 13,000. Let's just look at those two first together. Are you paying for one of those guys this week?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they're
Which
that
one?
good, and you're giving them a head start. I think I like the golf course for both of them. It's Cantlay. I think maybe Cantlay's in a little bit uncharted water. Rahm's had a little more experience in this kind of like elite, this type of pressure. I mean, for these guys now, this is a lot of money even for golfers who are incredibly wealthy. I'm going to lean Rahm, just out of the fact that he's won a major this year, and maybe he'll like chasing the carrot as opposed to just staring at himself on the leaderboard right out of the gate. But that's splitting hairs. I really can make a case for either one. But I feel like I'm inclined to build around one or the other because they are just so clearly the hottest golfers on the planet right now. And you're giving them a head start on the scoreboard. So for this format, I think hard to not to build around one or the other.
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends how you build, too. I mean, the key with this is we see these huge numbers, but you got to realize that there are really good players like in the 5,000s and 6,000s this week. We never get that. I mean, there's a couple guys in the 5,000s that I'll have on every team. So I'll probably build. I built with Rahm and then another guy in the 10s as I was kind of playing around with it. You can actually build like Rahm, a guy in the 10s, and a guy in the 9s if you want 3 cheaper. So it's kind of how you build it. But I think you got to get the winner, and I think Jon Rahm ends up winning the FedEx Cup. So I'm gonna build around Rahm too.
All right. I think the only problem with that is I think he's going to be like ridiculously heavy owned, but because there's only 30 golfers, maybe you don't care about ownership.
Yeah. And I mean, the funny thing is we talk about Rahm and Cantlay. I mean, Bryson and Finau are starting ahead of Rahm. So, I mean, Finau's at -8, and I think Bryson's at -7 and Rahm's -6. So I like Rahm the most, but he's still getting up a couple shots to those guys too. I mean, it's not easy to win that way.
Yeah, it is. It isn't. You're right about that. Okay, Bryson Finau. They start off ahead of Rahm. They're cheaper. Bryson's 12.3. Finau's 11.8. I'll look at them we'll put them as the next tier guys. Can you afford one from them and one from the top tier, or how are you going to make everything fit this week?
You can. I try to do it. I'm not going to play either one. I think that I don't love how Finau's played. He obviously won that tournament. He hit really well, but he's lost strokes on approach in 4 of the last 6 weeks. I just think he got hot at the right time. I'm not playing Bryson again. I think the course set up for him so well last week. I think it's a little tougher this week. More narrow fairways. It's not quite the bomb and gouge that it was. A little more accuracy off the tee. And he was hitting a lot of fairways last week too. I couldn't believe how many times he hit the fairway on 18 until he finally hit in the water. But
right.
I'm probably going to play Rahm or Cantlay and then skip Finau Bryson is how I've been building it so far.
Yeah.
I like Finau more than Bryson. I agree with everything Scott said there about last week was one of those tracks that just fits Bryson's wheelhouse. Big ballpark, plenty of room to go hit it, go get it. He also did hit a lot of fairways, but I agree. I think I would lean Finau over Bryson from that tier. Funny, when you said the two together, I actually thought, oh, that might be a Ryder Cup pairing. Finau Bryson, like that. That might be like the one guy Bryson's not feuding with.
What do you have against Finau to do that to him? Jeez,
he's a nice guy. He's not actively feuding with Bryson.
True.
So that's
the Euros will put like Poulter and someone else who's not a bomber against him, and they'll putt him and drive him crazy or something like that. I think, but I don't know. Cantlay and Bryson together would be a fun pairing, by the way.
They should honestly. You know what they should do? They should put Brooks and Bryson together because that will show everybody that they're fine. If they can really work it out, they should pair them together and just send them out there as a big, it just like that shows the world that they're going to work together on this and the team is united. Otherwise, you got this weird rift in the locker room. We'll do a Ryder Cup show later, but I'm just saying if I was a captain, I'd be tempted to try it.
Nobody can get ejected for yelling Brooksy either if Brooks is actually playing in the same pair.
That's true. That is a good point. There is a chance they play together this week too, for that matter. Yep. We'll see what happens there. Finau closed so well on Sunday. That made me think that I'm thinking about it. I'm tempted.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yep.
Jeff and I dismissed him at our peril a couple of weeks ago, I think. Or all three of us did. That's right.
Yeah.
It was last week that you were out. Not 2 weeks ago. But so I throw you under the bus too, along with us there.
I think you get the lowest ownership of the 4 on Finau, which I think matters in a small field event like this too.
Right. Let's go to the next tier. 11,000 JT, DJ 10.7, Jordan 10.4. Jordan's actually starts ahead of DJ. And Cam Smith at 10.1. Interesting spots here for those guys. The form for JT is great. I'm tempted to go with him. What do you say, Jeff Ritter? I'll go to you. What jumps out at you at this tier 4 guys?
Yeah, probably JT. It feels like it's starting to come back into focus for him as the summer's gone along. Spieth has been a bit up and down. Cam Smith is tempting also. Another guy he's knocked on the door a couple times. He's come close to having a very big year. He's still had a very good year. But kind of just look at who's most likely to come in fully motivated off this tier, thinking I can win this and I'm going to go make a bunch of birdies, which translates to a bunch of points in the DraftKings game. And I think it's probably Justin Thomas. I think he's probably the guy off here that just he has the aggressive style to begin with, and if he's feeling good, he can go low in a hurry. So I would lean JT off this group.
Yeah, and it's kind of boring, but I'm JT in this range too. I just think he's been so good at this course. He's gained tee to green in 6 straight tournaments really nicely in the last 3. Just putted really badly last week, and I think he can figure that out. He had some putting issues during the year. I don't love how DJ's playing right now. I don't love how Spieth's playing right now. Cam Smith's interesting, although he played really badly last week after the ball that went 40 yards right in the water in the playoff the week before. So you worry a little bit about how that's affecting him, but maybe he just needed a week to bounce back. But when I started building, I started Rahm JT, and I really liked what I could do near the bottom. But I'm a little worried in a field this small that there's going to be a lot of Rahm JT starts.
Yeah, I mean, we go back to the question. Does ownership matter? I guess it always matters, but
I think it matters a lot more in a week like this.
Really? Yeah. I would think it's because everybody's owned, I guess. But
yeah, but I just think I think normally like it's so separated that high ownership is like 17%. Like Rory was like 12% last week. But I mean, some of these guys are going to get 30 to 40% on these guys. I think it matters because it's such a small field. And in golf, anything can happen. If you get a guy, any of these guys are all great players. If you get someone that is owned, lightly owned and has a really good week, it just makes such a huge difference in a small field like this, I think.
The other question I want to ask is it a mistake that I'm grouping these guys by price instead of by shot advantage?
No.
Because, for instance, Cam's at 10 is at 5 under, DJ's at 3 under. I mean, DJ costs more and is already 2 strokes behind.
I think it's just built into reputation and player and all that. So I think I go going by prices probably makes sense. But yeah, I mean, 2 strokes makes a difference. And you give me Cam versus DJ and I start -2. I'm going to take Cam every day.
I mean, you get DJ versus Sam Burns plus 2,500. I mean, that's I mean, JT versus Sam Burns, not DJ, but DJ versus Sam Burns and a stroke and 2,200.
And Sam Burns been playing better too.
I like Sam Burns a lot this week.
I do too.
I like Harris English a lot this week at 87, and he's also 4 under.
I wouldn't argue against that. English at all. Been playing well, and I think slides through when you put him next to Xander and above Morikawa and Hovland and Brooks. Like you think who's clicking on Harris English in that range? Yeah,
I hear you. Let's go down to the next tier here. The obligatory Abe Answer at 96, Rory McIlroy 93. Let's go Xander 89, Harris English 87, Sam Burns 85. We'll kind of cut it off at that. What's your oh actually no, and Morikawa's at 83. My God, Morikawa. He's a Morikawa. How are we ignoring him at 83 too? Scott, we'll start with you at these guys in this next tier.
First of all, I think Morikawa's hurt.
I think so too.
He's hit the ball so badly the last 2 weeks. It's like a completely different human out there. He's actually lost strokes tee to green 2 straight weeks after not doing that since September of 2020 at the U.S. Open. Like, I mean, it's an unbelievable. Something's wrong with him for sure.
He tweaked his back at the Olympics.
Yeah, I'm staying away. I hate back injuries. I don't like injured guys anyway.
They don't like you.
That's true. I think I have to go Rory here in this range. I think it's going to be a little bit of talk about a high percentage guy. You get Rory, and I think everybody's going to be on him. He's only starting at -2 too, but he struggled a little bit on approach the last couple of weeks. That worries me a little bit. Really good tee to green and off the tee, which is going to be big here. You got to hit the ball in the fairway on these fairways, but he's won twice at this course. I think a lot of people are going to be on him, but I also like English, kind of the point you mentioned, playing really well in this range where I think he kind of goes. Under owned when you put him between Xander and Morikawa and Hovland. I think it's hard for people to click English, and I think that's a guy that I like in a tournament like this.
Well, we're agreeing too much this week. It's making for boring content, but I like English a lot. I would actually kind of fade Rory. I feel like he's just, some of the comments, even though he played well last week, I sense a little bit of fatigue with Rory and maybe starting to think about the Ryder Cup or just kind of done with this FedEx this year, this moment. So if you're looking for guys around, I think Schauffele is a guy, gold medalist, building towards the Ryder Cup, aggressive player.
He plays awesome here too.
Yep, another solid course history. So I would probably lean Schauffele over Rory. I still like English a lot out of this basket of guys that you've presented here, though.
If you just go stroke play last year, Xander would have won too. He had the best stroke play over the 4 rounds. He just didn't win because he started behind, but he beat everybody last year too.
Yeah. You've been reading a lot of Doug Ferguson and your Rory hate there, but
I'm a fantasy. He's on my fantasy team, so I wallow in it. Just like God, I thought I was going to catch Rory on a kind of a bounce back season, and it's been more of just a slow slide down. Unfortunately,
yeah, he came up big though. Came up big over the weekend. Okay, let's look at that next year. I like Sam Burns a lot too. I think we said that already, but I like him a lot. Victor Hovland at 8,000, Brooks at 78, Louis at 76, Sungjae Im at 73. I mean, if you're grouping these 4, how do you not go with him?
I don't know.
Great. He's cheaper. Are you concerned about ownership levels, Scott?
A little, I am. I wonder if everybody's going to go Brooks when you get under 8,000, you go to Brooks. But I just worry in a tournament like this where Brooks is 8 back. If he doesn't really go off the first 2 days, how much we're going to see on the weekend. I hate to be boring, but I love Sungjae. He's gained on approach 8 straight weeks. There's a lot of guys in this field that are kind of up and down on approach right now. He's not one of them. Gained off the tee in 4 straight. He putted huge last week. He's a good putter, but he putted really huge last week to finish wherever he finished third. I think he finished third. He's starting at -3 though, so he's like a little bit above some of these guys in the range. 7,300. Yes, I'm worried about ownership percentage, and yes, I'll probably still be eating some of that chalk. I love Sungjae right now.
Or we'll say rostership, just to try to
rostership. Sorry, yes.
No, it was me that started that.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying. And it's so easy to say that, but yeah, and I said, but we're trying to change our nomenclature here. It takes a while. Sometimes we're going to get it wrong, but we're going to work on that a little bit there. But I think Im is just a no-brainer there. The way he's playing, I just think that was I think that was like the first guy I clicked. And it's like, because you need these guys to fit. You need some of these cheaper guys to make everything fit anyhow. Give me the guy that's going to get a ton of birdies, I think.
Yeah, Koepka also tempting off the tier. He would be my second choice, but I agree. I just like what my cursor went right to Im when I saw it as I was moving down. Same thing. Right. Just come in hot, great price. Don't overthink it.
Yeah. So I can't use them in one and done. I think I wouldn't anyhow, but at any rate, we'll get to that later. And in fact, before we get to the next tier, a quick note from our Blue Wire sponsors. All right, let's hit the next tier. So Brooks, we hit up those guys. Scotty Scheffler, 68. Kokrak, 66. Decky at 64. Corey Connors, 62. Kevin Na, 6,000. Jeff Ritter, who do you like in this bunch?
Yeah, I don't want to abandon friend of the show, Corey Connors, here in this moment where 15 million's on the line. But I don't know. I'm not as big on this tier. I almost want to go a little farther down the list to finish the build, especially if you started with Rahm or you try to. But I think off this tier, I'm kind of on the Corey Connors. I know we've talked about Scheffler a lot. That he's just a guy that you feel like is going to break through at some point. It's just not happening. It's going to happen next tour season for Scotty Scheffler, I think. Although it would be an interesting one if he actually, won this week or came close. Does he get a Ryder? I feel like there's a Ryder Cup possibility there with him. I think there's one.
I think it's him. I think it's him or English for that last spot.
Yeah. So he's got that. There's an extra carrot there for him and for Harris English. So to me, that makes it. I probably would lean Scheffler off the tier.
I really like Scheffler in this tier. 6,800. He hit the ball really well last week. Lost strokes putting, so it didn't really show, but gained 4.1 on approach, gained 4 on tee to green. And he's just been good on tough courses and big events. We've talked about it a bunch, in majors and big events at tough courses. He's played really well. I think he's a guy that can't win this week. I mean, he's starting 9 back. I don't think there's a chance that he wins, and there's just too many guys. It's not there's one guy ahead of him. There's, 14, 18 guys ahead of him. But I think he's a guy that could sneak into the top 10, really make a nice run and play really solidly, get a lot of DraftKings points, maybe sneak into some standings points. He's one of my favorite plays. I like a lot of guys. I like a couple guys in the 5,000s a lot, but in the 6,000s, Corey Connors will be second for me, but I think Scheffler's going to be on a lot of my teams.
Yeah, no Decky for you. I thought you're pretty loyal to Decky usually.
I love Decky to death, but I think he's a little fried since the Olympics. The game has been a little bit off since he got back, and I think it's been a long year. Winning the major, then the Olympics in his home country. I just think he's a little bit fried right now. I love him, but I'm not going to be playing him this week.
Okay, fair enough. That is fine. Let's move on to the 5,000 tier where really good golfers still exist. Daniel Berger, 58. Patrick Reed, back from double pneumonia at 57. Joaquin Niemann, 56. Sergio, hit the ball already, 54. Stuart Sink, 52. Billy, 51. Billy Horschel, 51. And Van Rooyen took some time off from hitting tee markers to put on an incredible run to get in at 5,000. Scott, what do you like? You said you like this tier. Who do you like?
I do. I mean, I'm worried about ownership. Rostership. Caught myself. I just don't know how I get away from Daniel Berger at the price. 5,800. I know he's starting at even, but he's gained an approach 12 straight weeks, large in many of those weeks, gained in tee to green 6 straight weeks. He just putted really badly the last 2 weeks. He played really well on Sunday, which I like to see. He's number 1 in this field in the last 24 rounds in shot gains approach, which is a huge key out here. The greens are tough. Getting up and down here is tough. The greens are really fast. You want to be on the green putting for birdie. 5,800. I imagine everybody has him, but you just never know. But I don't think I'm going to have any teams without him at 5,800. And then on the other side, I like Joaquin Niemann a lot at 5,600. Hit it well last week. Gained 3.9 approach, 4.4 on tee to green. Just putted badly again. I think I'm going to play a lot of lineups with both these guys in it, and then get really aggressive at the top. So I think that I'll have Berger everywhere, and I'll have Niemann a bunch also.
Love them both. I'd add Van Rooyen also. Beware the golfer who enters hot, the last man in the field. Tempting as at the lowest price in the field. Maybe he can keep it going. He's a streaky player when he's hitting the ball well and not the tee box well.
He runs hot though. He definitely runs hot.
I like the fire. I want someone who's wants to be there and wants to run up a bunch of birdies. But I agree. I think Berger off the tier. Like, I can't believe he's been underpriced in DraftKings all summer long. It feels like, so why not one more week? I think he's the play off the 5,000 tier. But if you want fire on your team for $5,000, if you build your roster with some of the bigger price guys and stick Van Rooyen in there, I'd be fine with that.
I mean, he hit the ball really well last week. He gained like 6.5 on approach. He's probably hit the ball approach probably better than anybody last week. How low percentage is Patrick Reed this week if he actually ends up teeing it up? Is he listed? Low. I don't know. He must be listed.
He is listed at 5,700. In fact, when I saw that on our optimizer that he was listed at 57, I actually reserved an entry in the $12 Albatross on DraftKings, and there he is at 57. So you can play him if you want to. You can leave your friends behind.
He's going.
He doesn't have any friends, so you don't leave them behind.
He's on a bus on the way there. So apparently he is intending on playing. So I can't imagine anybody takes him because it could be an early WD or all that. But if you want low percentage in its field like this, I guess you go there. But I don't think I can do it. Isn't
it just one? You tee off and you make your money. So.
But
I can see the ceremonial Patrick Reed tee shot.
Sure, right? You got to pay a bunch of money, and then in DraftKings, obviously, that does not help you very much.
The ceremonial get DQ'd by moving the ball in the bunker, Patrick Reed play too. And then
man,
as someone who has him in our league, I'd take it. I take the money earned, and we'll call it a day.
Yeah, I want Reed to show up. Just embrace it. Just show up in a ski mask and have your briefcase out. Just hit a tee shot, WD, and just like put the money right here in my bag on the way out.
Go all out. Have Gary Player's son be your caddy too while we're at it there.
He's probably got to play 4 rounds to make the Ryder Cup team. He's got to show that he's ready, right? I think that's the reason he's playing.
For sure.
I mean, I think he's got to. It would take a lot, especially reading the tea leaves. It would be a complicated addition to the locker room. So he needs to play his butt off to make a case this week.
Bryson paired with Reed. Who says no?
Just do it. Like that way, nobody else has to play with either one of them. You just make one group the problem, and you just go with it. They probably both embrace it. They probably both love it.
Steer into that stuff. Yeah, that would be great. Captain America and the Hulk. There you go.
I like it.
Yeah. All right. We're up against the hour. We got to go this quick because I know Scott's got some stuff. Let's get into our bets real quick.
Just an impossible event to bet. So you can either bet to win the FedEx Cup or just to win the stroke play tournament. If I'm betting to win the FedEx Cup, I'll probably put some money on Rahm. The odds are insane, plus 350 starting 4 back, but I think he's going to win. I think the stroke play is a little more interesting. I like JT 14-1. I like Berger at 25-1, and I like Sungjae at 30-1, and maybe a couple bucks on Neiman at 45-1. Those are pretty good lines for only a 30-man field. And you get those guys at the bottom, like they just can play free and loose and can fire at pins. So I think I'm going to be a little more interested in the stroke play bet. Berger, Sungjae, Neiman for sure at those prices.
I would definitely go with Berger in the stroke play portion. I think I'll throw something down on Rahm at 4-1. Why not? I mean, we think he's going to win. Then let's do it. It's terrible odds, but I mean, this is sort of you're starting on second base. So
feels like his year to win, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
It sure does.
It really does. It just feels like it with the Memorial stuff and him having to disqualify to come back in the US Open. It feels like we're going to see him hoisting that trophy on Sunday. I have a pretty good feeling that's going to happen.
Yeah, I've got, and then I would still also go with Harris English on a straight ticket. And for my one and done, just to jump the question because I know we're up against it, I didn't use Patrick Cantlay all year. I don't know how that happened, but here we are. I'm going to hit the button for Patrick Cantlay and hope I finish out of somewhere better than 40th out of 43 spots in our one and done league. So
you should have pulled an Erickson and played him last week because that's the gem that he is.
Yeah, I did use him at my second winner this season, which gets me to 11th place. There's Shoes is killing us in that one. There's a bunch of people that have 2 winners, a couple that have 3 people that have 3. So anyways, Scott, who did you use?
I'm going Bryson. I haven't used him yet. He's up at the top. He's at -7 to start. I've used Cantlay, Finau, and Rahm and Cam Smith. I got to take the head start if I'm going to get it. I don't have to root for him actively because I won't bet him, but I got to use him at some point. So I'm going to go Bryson.
I'm going Sam Burns.
I like it.
Is he, Cam Smith, or Louis? And we talked about not liking injuries. I'm going to end up not using Louis all year. I was saving him for one of these playoff events, and then he withdrew with the neck thing, and I just don't think he's right now.
It's always funny. We always talk about, I'm going to use somebody so I can save someone else. I always end up with a couple of guys at the end that I never use that I probably should have. I got to really think about that when I go.
Yeah, Burns is 20. He starts off 21st, at least according to the listing here for our office football thing. I only had 2 in the top 20 I didn't use: Louis and Cam Smith. Cam Smith I regret not using. Actually, Louis too. Louis is a good man. I like him. Good quality competitor. All right, that's going to wrap up this week's Gaming Golf. We'll have a Ryder Cup preview in a couple of weeks, so we'll be dark next week, and then we'll be back, sometime in the winter. Sometime we'll do a season preview issue, but we'll take a little time off after the Ryder Cup. Thanks for tuning in all season. Please hit that subscribe channel on YouTube on our RotoWire's YouTube golf channel, and also please check out Jeff's article on SI Golf and Morning Read as well. And we thank you for patronizing us, listening to us all season long. Take care.